Instruction, golf news, equipment, travel, interviews, course profiles, and more. Your weekly fix of all things golf is about to begin. It's the Flagstick Podcast with your hosts, Jeff Botter and Scott McLeod. All right, well, welcome to the Flagstick Podcast, everybody. I'm Jeff Botter. He is Scott McLeod, and this is a show about golf. You know, or
Is
football,
it? Is it?
or baseball. Could be about baseball today.
Maybe.
It might be about baseball today. We're happy to be here with you. The Flagstick Podcast is brought to you by Srixon Golf. Srixon Performance is more than just a number. It's a feeling, and one that starts at the forge. Introducing ZXI irons with iForge, the groundbreaking achievement in shaping, pressing, and heating that's taken Srixon feel to an entirely new level. ZXI irons from Srixon, how forged should feel. Visit srixon.ca for more information and the full lineup of Srixon products. Social media, follow us, Instagram, X, TikTok, Facebook, subscribe on Spotify, Audible, Amazon Music, and Apple Podcasts, and of course, hit us up on that YouTube channel, people. Like us and click the notification bell. Don't miss anything. Not a thing.
She getting busy up there.
She is getting busy up there. We're posting a couple tips a week now. That's the plan. So the Flagstick Academy is going to be rocking. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, let me tell you.
We're not in a hotel this week.
No, you're not in a hotel this week, and I'm going to a hotel this weekend. So
yeah, you get to start your season of running around to hotels. So
yeah, I don't. This one's a little far. I mean, it's far away. It's 4.5 hours, I think, to Halton Hills. Not that big a deal, but
I'll pass by it tomorrow on the way to
lunch. You will. I was going to say, you said you were going to London, so
yeah.
You can wave as you're passing by.
Sure.
I probably won't see you wave, but
probably not. It's all good.
So
you got a hockey tournament on Thanksgiving weekend.
I know. Yeah. Well, we will technically be done Sunday night, one way or the other. If we make it to the championship, which I think we have a really good chance of doing. We'll be playing a lot later on Sunday, so it will be a late drive back. However, we had kind of discussed that we may just pop and stop in Whitby or something like that, spend the night there, and then go
Swiss
play
Chalet and get the festive special.
Hit the Swiss Chalet maybe, and then head to Harmony Creek on Monday morning for a quick round. I always love Harmony Creek is one of those, like, it's like a mainstay.
Yeah,
like if there's an opportunity to play Harmony Creek, then I want to play Harmony Creek. So we might, if things work out that way, then I think we might just kind of, because I don't really want to drive all the way back from Halton Hills at like 8 o'clock at night on.
There's lots of options on your way back there. Stonehenge, you could stop there. You could do Coburg Creek.
I was thinking about Coburg Creek too.
Yeah, so just off the highway too. So there's another one there. At Port Hope, if you can get in there. I don't know if you have enough time for 18, but great golf course there.
Well, Harmony Creek's 18, but it's also a short 18. So
yes, of course, yeah, you get through that. So
quick, but yeah, Coburg Creek or what's the other one there? Shelter Valley.
Oh yeah.
If you're trying to slip a quick 9 in anyway,
yeah, for sure.
But I didn't think it was Stonehenge. I forgot about that one.
Yeah, great little golf course. So.
So who knows? We'll see if we're late coming back on Sunday. We'll probably do a crash up there on Sunday night and then play somewhere. The clubs will be in the car one way or the other, and we'll figure it out.
Nice. So what we got going on the show this week?
Oh, well, I mean, on the heels of what was an awesome show when we had a little conversation about Mississippi, we're going to take a little tour of Camelot.
Yes, sir.
Camelot.
I like it.
We're also going to take a look at, look at that. We're going to talk about Major League Baseball players who are golfers, the best golfers among Major League Baseball players. So see, I said we could talk about baseball on a golf show.
Oh, everybody's crazy for the Blue Jays.
TGL has announced their schedule.
Yes.
For season 2.
Yep.
And so we'll kind of go over that a little bit, and I mean a little bit. And another made for broadcast golf event is back. We're going to talk about that too. Something that used to be like one of the coolest things. Yeah. And it's back. And,
literally the details came out this morning. So
hey, it's fresh, sort of.
Yeah.
Awesome. So that's what we're going to do today. Let's start. Let's get on to the front nine presented by Metcalf Golf Club, a natural setting, a pleasant challenge. There is plenty of time left in the golf season this year. Their course is in great shape. Book online, save yourself 10%, or hit up those popular game passes. They're always available in 10s, 20s, and 30s. Check out some lessons with head pro Nick Search. Still get a lesson in there before the end of the season. And of course, enjoy the great food at Hickory's Restaurant. Visit metcalfgolf.com.
And their foliage is spectacular there
Yeah, this time
always.
I
So
can
yeah,
attest to that because there's I live across the street and my foliage is spectacular and falling
there you
on
go.
the ground. So
Yeah.
yeah, that part I'm not too happy about. But
No, I'm not either. It's
although I
already
don't really
started.
deal with it anymore.
Oh no.
I have a person for that in the
Yeah.
house.
Person slash
I
son.
wouldn't blow the leaves into the right spot, so I don't even bother
Ah,
with it.
okay.
If it's
All right.
yard work, yard related, I don't
It's
really
his.
even, it's Brandon's deal. I don't even go
Let me
there.
know when you can send him over.
Yeah, sure. I don't know if I'll be able to. Okay. Let's have a little chat about
Yeah.
fall golf.
Yeah.
How much
I
time do you
mean,
think we've got left this year? This has been kind of a weird year because we just came off of a Saturday Sunday where the temperature was like 30.
yeah, I know it was crazy.
And
I was driving through the Ottawa Valley on Saturday, and it was so spectacular. And stopped by a couple of courses. Parking lots were just jammed, and just great weather. You just it's been so good this year.
mhm,
Even looking at some of the numbers coming in from different areas, and it's all weather related more than anything.
of
You know,
course.
places like PEI are up 14%. That's consistent kind of across the country in a lot of places just because of weather. But you just wonder how long it's going to last. I mean, I'm looking ahead now, a couple weeks, and it's like, okay, we're going to start to see some rain. We're getting a little bit today down here in Kingston. But it's like, when is it? Rain doesn't bother me. I mean, we're
No,
sort
but
of
it
the
gets this
same.
time of year rain, the rain
It's
can
when it
be a
gets
cold
cold,
rain.
right?
And
It's
then
when it
it's
gets
not a rain that
cold.
I want to play in.
No, that's exactly it. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, talking to a number of pros and stuff, I was having a chat with one on Sunday morning, and he figures another 5 weeks for them,
Wow.
which, could be a lot. Halloween is sort of the time for a lot of golf courses to really think of it. It depends if they're private, they're public, or so forth. But I can imagine, everybody's going to try to stretch it as long as they can this year, even though that, the golfers maybe have gotten in more rounds than they ever have, as far as at this point. So, what about
Well,
you? Will you just hang on, or
I
what will you do?
I mean, for me, I mean, it'll be kind of for me, it'll be kind of a day to day sort of deal. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
Metcalf will probably, which is the course that I'm a primary member at across the street. So Metcalf will probably be open past the end of October this year, I would think.
yeah,
But I wouldn't imagine that they would be open much beyond that. And the only
mm,
reason I say that is that we can look at the weather like this and say the weather's really good, but the weather this time of year turns quickly.
yeah, it does. Yeah,
So, and the golf courses have certain things that they have to do to prepare for
hmm,
that turn in weather, that cold temperature, that frost at night, and things like that. So, there's certain chemicals that they have to get down, certain things that they have to do to the golf course that is not something they're able to do with golfers on the course.
yeah,
So, at some point or another, they do have to shut the golf courses down
yeah.
to get that stuff done. So,
And I
um,
would say too, the other side of it is that with the way the season has been, and the extra work that a lot of the greens crews and stuff have
yeah,
had to do to keep the course. I mean, they're beat too. I mean, talking to Jason
trust me, I
Boyce.
know.
Yeah, I know you've got one in
Yeah,
your house.
I
So,
know.
I was talking to Jason Boyce there down at Smugglers, and yeah, you can just tell they're
They're
just
all
kind of
worn
waiting.
out. Like it's
They are worn out.
it's
So,
been a long season. It's been a with the drought sort of weather that we had there. Some golf courses were not didn't have the water that other golf
yeah,
courses had to. If you had the water available to you, then you probably didn't really notice too much of it with respect to the drought. But
mm,
if you didn't, there was a lot of things that you have to do
sure,
during the season to protect the grass,
yeah, for
and
sure,
that puts undue pressure on the maintenance
yeah,
teams. I don't think I think people do appreciate the maintenance crews more so than maybe they have in the past, but I still think that they're a very underrated,
mm,
underappreciated group of people.
Surely, because they're just not seen as much,
Yeah.
right? So
And,
yeah,
and if they are seen, then that's a bad thing. So they're not
yeah,
supposed to be seen. They're supposed to get out there and do their thing and get off and get out of the way and stay hidden and all that. But man,
hmm
it's a tough job. I mean, and I've seen it, I knew it was
yep,
a tough job in the past, but I've seen it firsthand this year, the stress and the frustration that,
yep,
you know, coming home covered in mud some days because you've been down in a hole fixing an irrigation line. Like it's
oh yeah,
those, you know, from the most enjoyable tasks, which can be cutting greens and cutting aprons and rolling greens and things, to the most tedious tasks of reshaping bunkers or, you
yep,
know, fixing an irrigation line or whatever. I mean, doing some aeration. Like
yeah.
it's a tough job. It's a tough
Just
job.
overall, I mean, you got to remember, as far as golf courses, when they get that much more traffic, it just means more stress for every aspect of the business, be it from
Yes.
the kitchen to the pro shop to
Yep.
whatever. So,
Everything.
I would just say for golfers to be very grateful for the staff this year, and don't be surprised if they maybe want to shut it down a little bit early just to get some rest and so forth. But
Yeah, and
yes,
there are projects that they do during the
for sure.
winter and things that they have to do after the golfers are gone. So
Yeah,
this is so I would say most golf courses is probably going to be end of October. Even the private golf courses, I think, might still be kind of around the same time. There's going to be the odd public course that's going to be open until the first
oh yeah,
snowfall. They'll
yeah,
get whatever they need to get on, and some of them don't put anything down, so
yeah.
they may just keep it going. Um, but there you go. Um,
Anyways,
so you were up at the. I am deeply sorry that I was not able to attend this great event, but the OVGA held their first Hall of Fame and year end celebration. So all these the
yeah,
COVID years and everything of doing all of these inductions into the Hall of Fame at separate times throughout the course of a 12-month period to try to get everybody in. They have decided that they were going to do a one night induction and year end celebration, and they did that on Friday the 3rd at the Hunt Club. There's about 150 people there,
yep.
I guess,
Well attended.
and I guess it was a good evening. From what I've heard and been told, it was a good
Yeah,
evening. But you were there.
yeah, it was good. The what was nice was the as we said, year-end celebration. So they recognized all the champions of all the OVG events for the year. Had a nice little cocktail hour, multiple different associations like the PGA of Ottawa. They had a table, so a number of the members and stuff were there. It was a good chance for a lot of people just to catch up in a non-golf environment. I actually sat at a table with Bob Henry and Curtis Barkley, which were two of the four inductees, and Ernie Wakelam's granddaughter, who received the award for him. So it was nice. They were able to have you know a few speeches. Brad Fritch was up as
Mm-hmm.
a keynote speaker. Brad, who obviously we have a long history with,
Mm-hmm.
and came up and spoke about. And it was really a celebration, a little bit of for as a fundraiser as well for junior golf. They expected to raise about at least $25,000 for junior golf. Which is fantastic, and part of Brad's speech there was really talking about how that early OVGA play sort of shaped his career, leading up to eventually getting to the PGA Tour, and how important it was. And it really wasn't. It was about the people that were involved, and it was the Larry Dufors and the Bernard Turner Davis and like those are the mentions that he had, and
Mm-hmm.
it was Pete, and it was like all these people who had given their time over the years, and obviously the Jim Davidsons and just all these different people. So those recognitions for all those people was really nice, and yeah, so it was good. I think it was a success. I was talking to Serge Lafontaine, the VP of the OBGA, and they're looking forward to doing it again. And as I said, the inductees, Curtis Barkley, Mark Etienne Boussier, who was not there, unfortunately. There were video messages from everyone. Danielle Nadon was also inducted. She was
Yeah.
away in Belgium, so she had a video message as well. And then, like I said, Bob Henry was the special recognition this year. And then Ernie Wakelam, who longtime pro, who actually passed in 1972. But yeah, it was nice to see everyone there. And like I said, it was a success, and you were missed. So
Well, I'm so glad that I was missed. In case I was wondering, I'm very dark today,
Yeah,
in
what's
this,
up with that?
well, it's very dark outside right now. I can't get enough light into my
Oh no,
studio
it looks
here.
great. It looks
Oh
great,
no, it's
actually.
pretty. It's pretty. Like I've
Oh
had
no, it
the
looks good.
power's flickered a couple times here, so I don't
Oh,
know.
okay.
Something's going down. We'll
Got some storms.
we'll see. We'll see how if we can get through this, but without me losing power. But
We will
I'm just
try.
warning everybody ahead of time. There's a possibility that I may disappear,
Okay, and then I'll just be solo for
and
the.
then
Oh wait, no.
you're just gonna
Oh
have
no,
to run
wait.
with it.
Yeah, all
You have to
right.
run with it. You know what to say. It's all good.
There we go.
Okay, so on top of that, so I'm glad everybody had a good evening there.
Yeah,
I did notice Curtis's mustache. That's epic.
it
It's
was.
looking a little Jonathan
Mag-
Wagnerish.
yeah, exactly.
It's like
Johnson
a
Wagner. Yeah.
nice stash, Curtis. Very nice. Um, Now Bob Fougere, I've known Bob for as long as I've been doing Flagstick, so going back to '96.
Yep.
Um, was a great guy. I had my very first conversations with Bob were back in '96. We played a few rounds of golf together over the years. Bob is extremely accomplished
Yes.
amateur golfer in OVGA and Golf Quebec. So
And
this,
Golf Canada.
yes. So he's being inducted into the Quebec Golf Hall of Fame during a special event at Rivermead. So that's happening this week. So
Yeah.
congratulations, Bob. So happy for you. And well deserving honor, I might add,
Yeah.
for Bob. Now,
There we go.
God,
Just announced.
just as we were starting the podcast this week, it was announced that the Skins game is returning after a 15-year hiatus. 15 years since the last time a Skins game was played.
Wild.
It's being produced by the same people that bring you Full Swing.
Yep.
We won't hold that against them because I really don't like that show. But
Some
along
people
with
do,
PGA
apparently.
Tour Studios and TMRW Sports.
Yeah.
It's going to air on Amazon Prime Video, so I'm happy about that because I have that subscription.
Sure. As do many.
Most people have Prime. Like, do not
I
most
think
people
so.
have Prime nowadays? Because if you don't have Prime and you're buying anything on Amazon and you're spending too
You're
much
paying a
money,
lot for shipping. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So you have Prime, and that's going to start on November 28th. Now,
Yep.
it will feature Tommy Fleetwood,
Yep.
Justin Thomas,
Yep.
Xander Schauffele, and Keegan Bradley at Panther National in South Florida. Now, I feel that my personal opinion, maybe they could have come up with four better people than that. Um,
Mm,
but I like Fleetwood. I like Fleetwood in there, and
yeah.
I think Keegan is a very intense guy. So I think that he, you know, I don't know. I guess the other
I
two are
like.
good golfers. It's not a
Yeah.
bad thing if they're good golfers. I just think for a made for TV kind of event,
Yeah,
I
but
think that there's probably I would have had Bryson in there.
I. Yeah, I doubt that's gonna happen.
It's
So,
not because it's a PGA Tour Studios thing, so it's not going to happen. But I mean, wouldn't
right.
that have been awesome?
You know what? Yeah, but I think it almost would overshadow it a little bit. I think you need four sort of players. I get it, but it's
Why not
like
Tiger Woods?
well, he's busy getting ready for the TGL season, which we'll get to. I think Shoffley actually during that TGL stuff has actually shown some personality. A lot of the guys on tour say he's like sneaky funny,
I heard that, yeah. And
so.
even with the
But
Ryder Cup, I heard like he's the comic
yeah,
relief. Like I mean,
yeah.
which I
So the
don't
thing,
see. I don't see
so
it.
well, you see it in TGL. He's got some smiles on the face. He just doesn't do it during the normal events. So the expectation or the hope, obviously, is you've got a Skins game. It's a little casual. It is Thanksgiving weekend timing in the US at the time when this is happening. So they've
Mm-hmm.
obviously got to get players that are kind of close to home. Bryson lives in Texas. These guys are all South Florida guys. So they live right around there. Justin Thomas is the co-designer at this golf course at Panther National.
Okay,
So
so that
that's
makes
obviously
sense.
part of his inclusion. People love Fleetwood. Look, it's nice to have it back. I mean, we've talked to it over the years of whether 15 years ago it sort of had run its course.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of at that point you're like going, yeah, all right. Now we'll see what's going to happen. They haven't given the full format yet. All they've said was it'll start with $1 million on the board, and then the fortunes will go up and down, whatever that means, as far as what they're going to do within the format or whatever. But I think the thing is that back in the day, it was about the money back in the
Hmm.
day, and people were really focused in on the money because it was bigger money than they were playing for on the tour. This time, because the money is so big out there in some of the other events, they're going to have to kind of lean into some other stuff. So that's why I'm kind of very interested to see what they're going to do
Yeah.
to make it interesting, because I don't think the money makes that much of a difference for the player or the spectator, more importantly. You
No.
know, if all of a sudden a player wins 20,000 for a hole or 40,000, it's spectacular. It's huge money, but I don't think it has the same effect as it used to have. So I'm looking forward to seeing what type of production that they're going to do with this, and what they're going to do with it to make it more interesting. So yeah, so I'm curious. It definitely was something that I'll throw on. And the good part is the fact that it's on Prime, you can watch it over and over and over again if you want.
Well,
So
that's the thing. I mean, I'm glad they're bringing it back. I'm not going to hold judgment on it until I see it, but I will. I mean,
sure.
I'm going to watch it, just like when they all these other um, clashes or
Yeah.
battles or whatever they had.
Sure.
You're kind of intrigued by it. You watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Just like with the TGL stuff. The
Mm-hmm.
first year we watched some,
Mm-hmm.
and then we didn't.
Mm-hmm. Well, I
And
think I think when you
as I
mention
says,
those other
I'll,
battles and those other things that they
yeah.
did in Vegas and stuff like that. I think the curiosity again when we talked about that is when the format started to fail and not make it interesting, then it became not interesting. And
Hmm.
it's like okay, you have the characters to work with as far as the players are concerned. How
Yeah.
can you best make use of their personalities, but how can you make the format compelling for an average golfer
Hmm.
and a core golfer as well? So I mean, I think there's a lot of challenge in it, more than anything. So I mean, this could end up being a lame duck. Who knows?
Yeah, it could
It,
be.
it, it could it come could come out and be flat as you know what. I'll say right now, I've seen a couple things from Panther National. I've seen some YouTube videos and stuff from there or whatever. It's not all that compelling as far as the golf course. I mean, it's South Florida flat. So they better have a drone in the air to give us some 3D effect as far as what it's going
Yeah.
to do. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with the setup for that. So if they can't lean into the golf course, which they used to do with PJ West, right? And that's
Yeah.
where they used to have the skins game or whatever. And back then
Well,
that
and
that
Bighorn.
right, exactly. So the
Yeah.
thing is, they could lean into a lot of those things as far as the golf course is concerned. If they don't really have that to show off here, they better lean into something else. And hopefully, it's not like, oh, we've got 40 celebrities coming out and watching, or stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we'll see. And as you said, you know, uh, Full Swing has been a hit for some people and a miss for others. So, with all the production, there's a lot of people that are involved here with the production. Hopefully they figure it out and create something that, we'll want to see again.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
Yeah,
Let's dive into this baseball talk. Obviously,
sure.
Blue Jays fever is happening. It's all
Yep.
around the country now. Everybody's Blue Jay, Blue Jay, Blue Jay. Um, Sadly, I'm not, but I mean,
I've watched.
I'm excited for the Blue Jays to be against the Canadian team and all that. But I mean, I've also been following the Blue Jays every year that they say they're going to be good and then they suck.
It's been a
So
long
it's not,
time.
it's nice that this year they don't suck, but this doesn't even seem all the other years the guys that they've had on the team that they were supposed to be
Mm-hmm.
good and they weren't, and now they're
Sure.
good. Like I just
Yeah.
can't even predict it anymore. But good for them. I'm
Yeah.
glad for the country that we've got a baseball team that's kicking some Yankee butt. Um,
I'm still a
at least so
Red Sox
far.
fan.
Uh, yeah, that's good for you. One more game and they've got that series in
Right.
hand. Although I have a feeling the Yankees might be a little bit stronger at home.
I think so.
That said, we're not really talking about baseball per se. We're more talking about baseball players who are golfers.
Yes.
And we
I
did.
got bored.
Scotty Mac did a little bit of research and
Yep.
settled on three uh, baseball players um, who have exceptional golf skills. We'll say
They're considered
um,
the best of all
the
time as
best
far
of
as
all
baseball
time. So,
players.
so arguably the most
Yep.
accomplished golfer to have also played Major League Baseball, Sam Bird.
Yeah, and I think this is
Birdman.
this is number one with a bullet because
Yeah.
of his accomplishments, which we'll get to here.
So we got just make sure we got enough time here. Okay, yeah, we got about 4 minutes. We can get through this before I have to take a
Sure.
break. He was an outfielder with the New York Yankees and the Cincinnati Reds. He played in the 1932 World Series and was a teammate of Babe Ruth. Cool. After retiring from baseball, Bird was a professional golfer, winning 6 times on the PGA Tour between 1942 and 1945. And he's the only person to have played in both the World Series and the Masters. That's pretty cool.
That is really cool. And then really, you know what? The other two are really kind of side dishes.
Now,
The
was he?
fact
There was 42 to 45.
during World War II.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's okay.
So maybe a little
Maybe
slightly
a
weaker,
little watered down PGA Tour at that
little
point,
watered
maybe.
down,
But
but the
cool
fact
nonetheless.
but the fact that this is somebody who played in a World Series and then a dozen years later he's winning on the PGA Tour and ends up playing in the Masters. I mean, like, how can you even like?
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's hard to argue. I mean, there's lots of great athletes
Yeah.
within Major League Baseball, but
Now this one's interesting. John Smoltz
yeah.
was the one that did come to mind. Him and who was the other guy? Rick Roden.
Oh, Rick Roden. Yeah, yeah. He
Yeah,
played
he
in a
was the
bunch of
other
the
one that
senior stuff.
I would have
Yes.
expected to see on this
Yes.
list.
He
But
he
then,
was close. I was gonna
but
put him in as
Smoltz, everybody knows John Smoltz.
yeah,
Obviously huge pitcher for the Atlanta Braves for forever.
yeah.
Um, he's reported as a plus 2.7 handicap, which is obviously better than scratch, and
Yep.
competes in celebrity and pro-am tournaments. He qualified for the U.S. Senior Open in 2018, and even Tiger Woods has
Yeah.
commented on how impressive John Smoltz's scores is, but
Yeah.
never played in a PGA Tour event, never won on the PGA Tour, never played in the
No,
Masters,
but
and never
no.
really did anything as a professional golfer, but did
No.
do a fair bit as a
Yeah.
celebrity.
Yeah, and
Celebrity.
getting into a US Senior Open is pretty impressive as well, because you got to
Yeah.
qualify for that, right? So I mean, it's not like they just hand you a spot in the field, which,
No.
a lot of times, if you're an athlete in a lot of sports, you might get an exemption into something. We've seen that lots on PGA Tour Canada and PGA Tour Americas over the years where, they give it to a hockey player or whatever, but he had to earn his way to the US Senior Open. So,
Yeah.
and yes, it was a tough choice between Rick Roden and Mark Mulder. So
Yeah. So Mark Mulder is another pitcher. It's a pitcher
yeah.
thing.
Always seems to be the
Um,
pitchers. Yeah, you're
yeah.
right.
Because it wasn't Roden a pitcher too?
Roden was a pitcher too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Glavine was a good player. There's a bunch to choose from. But yeah.
So Mulder transitioned from elite level to elite level amateur golfer after his baseball career ended.
Yeah.
He was a pitcher for the All-Star pitcher for the Athletics, Oakland Athletics, and the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah.
And he's a plus 3.3.
Yeah.
Has multiple victories in the American Century Championship, which is a huge celebrity tournament that takes place, I think, at Lake Tahoe, is it not? Is that the one
Correct.
at Lake
Yeah.
Tahoe? Yeah.
That's the one. Yeah.
So good for him. Again, not quite as accomplished as maybe Smoltz, and definitely not as accomplished as Sam Bird,
Sam
but
Bird. Yeah.
accomplishment nonetheless.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's not get into the TGL talk just yet because
Sure.
we need a little bit more time than a minute.
Yeah.
So let's push that into our back nine conversation, and we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about, we're going to bring you up to date as to what's happening with TGL 2.
Yeah.
And we're going to dive into a little conversation about Camelot Golf and Country Club. So stay with us. You're listening to and watching the Flagstick podcast with Jeff Botter and Scott McLeod.
How do you forge pure? With more pressure, more precision, more focus, more control. ZXI irons, pure forged, pure Srixon.
Well, we are back. We are back. Guess who's back? Back again.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Oh.
Don't do it.
We're back on the Flagstick podcast. Jeff Bonner, Scott McLeod. We got some back nine stuff to talk about here. Back nine presented this week by Falcon Ridge Golf Club. 27 holes of challenging golf at great rates, and I mean great rates. Falcon Ridge Golf Club is a golfing experience you should not miss. Don't forget, Falcon Ridge built the first TrackMan range facility in Eastern Ontario. TrackMan range, as we know, is all about exciting, easy-to-use features that provide the ultimate range experience for every golfer at every level. Practice, games, and virtual golf. To book tee times or to book one of the TrackMan range bays, visit falconridgegolf.ca. And remember, indoor golf is coming sooner than later. Falcon Ridge got all that covered for you as well. So when you're no longer able to hit it off of real grass, you will be able to hit it off of artificial grass
You got it.
indoors, and you never have to end your season. Speaking of indoor golf,
Yes.
um,
I think you have mixed feelings on this based on your
I do.
hesitation.
I mean, and you know what? I don't know that it's ever going to change. I really don't know. They can make this the just the greatest thing since sliced bread. I just don't think that indoor golf. This just does not feel like indoor golf to me. It just doesn't. And I think it's because of the size, the sheer size of it all.
Yeah, we've
It doesn't
discussed that for
feel
sure.
as
Yeah.
intimate as indoor golf. To me, you have this idea of indoor golf where
Mhm.
you got four people, you're in a hitting into a 10 by 15 or a 10 by 20 screen. It's somewhat
Yeah.
dark, and lit up where you're hitting. Like, it just feels different. So
Sure.
I will say this, I love the rotating green thing
Yeah.
and the
It's
bunker
fun.
and all that. I love that part of it.
Yeah.
That twist on it. I mean, if they didn't do that, I'm not so
Yeah.
sure that this
That'd
would
be
be
a
all that great. But this is that
that'd
part
be
of
a
it.
tough watch. Yeah, that'd be a tough
That
watch.
part of it changes my perspective a little bit. But
Yeah.
hitting into a 5,000 foot tall green that you're
Yeah.
trying to make it feel like it's outdoors, it just
Well,
doesn't. I
yeah.
can't, like, the whole, you know, the ball leaves the thing and hits it. By the time it gets to the big, huge screen, it doesn't really have that pop of indoor golf. It's kind of like a, you
But
know,
it's not. It's a hybrid, right? So I
Well, of
mean, I
course
guess
it's a hybrid. I
I
get
think
what they're trying to do. I'm
sure.
just saying that
Yeah.
it just doesn't feel like indoor golf to me.
Yeah. I'm
It's
just curious as far as, here's the thing. The as we get to this, basically what's happened is they've now announced their season two and their schedule and all that things that happened. It's like, okay, how are you going to make improvements? And I think
yes.
that's the key thing that we talked about at the end of last year was like, okay, season one's done, it's in the books. They obviously couldn't make too many changes kind of within the season, as they made a couple but nothing crazy. It's like, how are they going to make this better in season two? Because you have to think, it's like, yes, it becomes familiar, so people are at
Hmm.
least sort of used to it, but what's the drop off going to be? Because almost every single thing in golf will drop off in year two, whether it's products or
Hmm.
events or whatever. So you've got to keep reinvigorating this and maybe address the concerns that maybe people had, whether it's and already I know, before this announcement they did announce that one of their partners is back from a technology standpoint, and it's one that people were somewhat critical of. So I'm a little concerned that some of the technology stuff where there were some failures, whether that can be improved and can be better, so that the whole experience is better. So yeah,
Well, I think
that's
what bothers me a little bit is that at this point there hasn't been um any significant announcement as to any changes. Do you know what I
Well, I
mean?
think
Like,
that I think that's going to come. I think they had to do the sort of the announce the schedule and announce that first, and kind of lay that out there, and then now start to fill in. Okay, how's this? Because to them, those changes probably don't seem that big, right? The
no.
schedule and the fact that they're gonna start on ABC and not ESPN. That's big news for them from
Hmm.
a an audience standpoint and things like that. uh, Us, because we're being you know particular about certain features and stuff like that, to them it probably it doesn't land as much for them to kind of announce and say, hey, we're going to change this format and we're going to do this and this and this. I think those are secondary things that we will see come out. And if they don't, I think you might have a few people get out the pitchforks and the torches. So
And I might be the leader of that
yeah,
charge.
you might be
I
actually.
mean,
Yeah.
look, for me, they're going to have to wow the crap out of me this year. Like,
Right.
they're
Yeah.
going to have to do something to fill in gaps and stuff like that, because it's just boring. And
Yeah.
it's not. The golf part of it is fine, whatever. They're hitting shots. It doesn't, hitting crazy, bending cut shots and shit and stuff like that. It's not. Um, Don't, don't. Did I bleep that when I
are we gonna have to
say
put an
that?
E? Are we gonna have to put an E on this episode?
Oh my gosh.
It only half came out.
It
Anyways,
just
yes, I
doesn't
know what you're
quite
saying.
have the same, and it's not going to. I mean, let's face it,
No,
it's indoor golf, so it's never
yeah,
going to have the same exact feel
no,
as outdoor golf does. But
no.
it's the in-betweens and stuff like that. There's
Yeah. It's a production value. It's just like we
yeah,
talked about for
yes,
the
it's
skids.
production value.
It's like what are you going to do to fill in those gaps in
Yeah.
between, as you said, putting the live mic, putting the mics on the players and stuff like that. That's part of it. But sometimes that stuff is boring. You got to have it on the right players. What
Hmm.
else are you going to do in between that's not cheesy and not, whatever that's going to basically attract the current golfer and make it an improvement over the previous year. So yeah, that production value is going to be super, super important.
Yes, huge, huge. So what do we know um
Well,
thus far?
I think the biggest thing is the fact that they're going to start on December 28th, and it's going to be a Sunday afternoon, and they're going to do it on ABC. So
Okay.
big full on network. Obviously they're hoping that they're going to have a big blast with that they're going to, if you've got a bigger net, you can attract more people. Not everybody in the US has ESPN. I mean, most people do. Most people are diehard golf fans, but I think they're looking to reach wider with it. So I think the hope is that because you've got it on the major broadcast network
Hmm.
for that one particular one, you'll at least maybe sort of throw at the net and maybe catch a few more people to kind of get people in there. I don't think it's a compelling thing that it's like, oh, we're going to start with a championship rematch. Like I couldn't have
Yeah,
told you.
that does nothing for
No,
me.
I couldn't have told you that Atlanta Drive and New York Golf Club
No.
were in the finals last year. And I don't think
It's not like starting off the NFL season with the two with
no,
the
it's
Super
just
Bowl
yeah.
participants from the previous year playing each other, or the Stanley Cup finals or whatever. It's not the same thing because I didn't even know that Atlanta Drive played New York in the final. I had no
Well,
idea.
no, it's exactly it. So I mean,
Nor do I
it's like,
care.
well, yeah, yeah. Well, obviously, we think we've established that or whatever. But it's like okay, then you got so that's in December, and then it's still going to be months before you get to the Tiger Woods Rory McIlroy matchup. And I think the one thing that's going to be the same similar to last year is that there's 15 matches in the regular season, and 7 of them are going to happen in 9 days
Mm.
because of this format and the fact that they're going to do, they do them live. So
Hmm.
as a result of it, they've got to have the players around. So they have to do that during that Florida swing in late
Right.
February, early March. So we're just going to get, we're going to get pounded with it right then. We're going to see a lot of it, a lot of it, a lot of it, a lot of it. So again, I'd love to hear from the listeners and
Yeah.
viewers. It's like, is this appointment stuff for you? Is it
Yeah.
because
Are you watching? Are you tuning in to the
yeah,
first couple to see if they changed anything, if they improved on?
right,
I think that's where I'm at with it. Is like I'll
right,
tune into the first couple of matches and see if something's changed, if they've fixed the
yeah,
production value of it, if they've made it more interesting, like from a whole show perspective.
right,
If they've done
exactly.
anything to make it feel like the people are like the fans are more engaged, like closer to the action kind of thing, like an inside the rope sort of deal where you've got
Yeah,
more people down around the golf side of it instead of
mhm,
up in these luxury suites, like
yeah,
which is what it felt like. It felt like just a bunch of people
yeah,
in a bunch of suites, you know,
yeah.
not really a whole lot of crowd involvement. Like it didn't feel intimate. It's just kind
Well,
of what
no,
I
and,
feel it
and
needs.
and some of that crowd involvement seemed fake. Like there was people
Yeah.
that were
Oh my
cheering, like
God.
they were planted and so forth. The thing is too is
Kind of
like
like a live golf event.
yeah, maybe. I don't know. I've never been to one. But how are the players also going to be different this year? I mean, they've got a year under their belts, right? They've experienced it. They've been part of it. They get their money or whatever. But how are they going to treat it? Are they going to be more?
Hmm.
Are they going to be more like Billy Horschel? We talked about him and how demonstrative he was during that season and how
Yeah.
he was like right into it. And he was probably the guy who became a little bit of the needle just because of how he sort
Yeah.
of performed, despite the fact that, Rory and Tiger were sort of involved. But are those guys going to all of a sudden reveal their personalities a little bit more and loosen the collar and go, okay, all right, we're season 2. there's nothing to be afraid of here. Let's just have some fun. And is that going to be a little bit better? Because I think if the players have more banter, more involvement, there's more like they're just out with the boys,
Yeah.
playing. If they let their guard down a little bit, I think it becomes a better product. So
Yeah.
my hope is that happens in year two. So
Yes. I mean, you can play good golf and still have a good time. People do it all the time playing indoor golf. So
yes, for sure.
you don't have to be so serious. And I think
Yeah,
that's like to me, this is not a. I think everybody wants to see a winner and a loser, and I'm sure all the
sure.
teams want to win, and they're trying to create a team environment here, situation. But
Yeah.
at the same time, you need to just loosen up, light up, and have fun with it. Like it's just like you
It's
don't really,
entertainment.
yeah.
It's entertainment.
You're there to
I think
entertain. It's
yeah, I think I don't know if people buy into the competition because again, as we talked about,
hard to.
we don't know who's in the final. What's a rivalry? What are they actually playing for? Does it really matter if they win? So I think in the end, it's for most people, it's just something to watch kind of in the wintertime to fill the time. So, entertainment should be more important, although we want to see competitiveness
Hmm.
because we did see some lopsided matches last year
Yeah,
that were just, by
especially
the
early
time
on.
yeah, and then by the time you sort of get through, and again, that could be the format stuff where you have to maybe adjust the format so you can't have those big, big leads on the play unless the players play exceptionally well. But
Yeah.
you can't make it easy for them to get a big, massive lead because otherwise it becomes like watching turning on a baseball game and it's 10-1 and it's in the second inning. And you're like, yeah, I'm not really going to watch this too much,
Well,
but
and that's the thing. Like, it just. I don't know. We'll see. We'll
yeah.
see how it goes. I mean, I'm not gonna railroad it just yet. But if they don't improve on what happened last year,
I think
if
they're
they
in
don't make
trouble
it
if
better,
they
like
don't.
frankly, all this rivalry stuff, like I could Tiger
No,
versus
no,
Rory, I don't care. There's
no,
no rivalry in any of this.
no,
There's not no rivalries in any of this. This is
no.
just like,
Those are just names. They're not
yeah, you're
rivals.
just making crap up. Like
Yeah,
there's no
I
rivalry
agree.
like Boston versus New York or Philadelphia versus Pittsburgh. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no rivalry here.
I don't think people it's not a ride or die for everybody that lives in Boston that they're behind the Boston Common and they're going to take on I get it, but and
No.
I get why they try to do it from a geographic standpoint and to have these sort of city rivalries or whatever, but it seems a little bit
If it was
contrived.
something that traveled from city to city, like a professional sports event, like
Right.
you're playing the
Yeah.
Yankees in New York, Boston's
Yeah.
playing the Yankees in New York at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a rivalry there because the
Right.
fans are involved in it. When you're
Right.
playing everything at the SoFi Center
Yeah,
and
exactly.
you're playing Boston versus New York, it's like, what's the
Yeah.
connection there? Like, who's
No, there's
Boston
none.
versus New York? Like, Rory
Yeah.
plays for Boston, whatever, because he's Irish. That makes him Boston.
I don't know. They
You
just
know what I mean? Like,
chose. Yeah.
I don't know what the
Yeah.
connection to Boston is. Like, it's not like they're
Yeah.
all from Boston or they're all from,
No.
he doesn't live there. It
No.
doesn't didn't grow up there.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
no, anyway.
But
But
I
we'll
would
see.
say, I mean, my final statement sort of on it is just like they better, I mean, they were happy with the numbers,
Yeah.
but they better do something really exceptional
Yeah.
to give this life and to make it watchable and to make people have a desire for season three. Because I will tell you at this point, if they didn't have a season two, I wouldn't have lost any sleep.
No, neither would I.
Yeah.
I even forgot all about it.
There you go. See?
Thanks for reminding me that it was going to happen again.
You're welcome.
They're never going to invite me. Not after they hear this podcast. Okay, that's enough on the TGL.
Sure.
I've lost too many brain cells already. Let's talk about. Let's take a course tour. I enjoyed
Sure.
this the last time we did this. Now I wish I had more recently had played Camelot.
Right.
You did. You have played it this year, and you have been
Yeah,
around it a couple of times now this year. I have not, but I hear about it every day.
of
So
course. That's why I picked it.
I'm well aware of Camelot and all those things.
Yeah,
But let's talk about Camelot.
sure.
Uh, First of all, Camelot, for those that don't know, Camelot Golf and Country Club is a private golf course
Yeah,
located in Cumberland, just outside of Ottawa, Ontario, Canada.
you got it.
Camelot is probably one of the well, it is not probably. Camelot's in the top golf courses in Eastern Ontario. Could
Hmm.
be considered, one of the top golf courses in the province, um, depending on what ranking system you look at. I like my ranking system. It's the Jeff Botter ranking system of
Yeah,
where I feel the golf course
and I'm
belongs, and
and I'm
ev-
totally with that.
and
Everybody should pick
everybody
their
else should
own.
have their own ranking system and not really pay
Exactly.
too much attention to these other ranking systems.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, that said, let's talk about the inspiration behind Camelot because this goes back. Oh my gosh.
80s,
So this is the
1980s.
80s. 1988, I think, is when the land was purchased. Um, let's just focus back. Don Noseworthy, who um, some of you don't know Don. I've known Don, again, one of those people that I connected with very early on in the days of Flagstick back in the 96, 97. Um, somebody that I picked the brain of significantly when I started the magazine because I needed to pick people's brains.
Sure.
And Don was one of those guys. I think at that time he owned the Mountain Creek Golf Course.
Yep.
And I learned that he had, because that was 96 when I started. This was, a little bit sooner that this was built. But Don was involved with Philippe and Andre Gagnon
Hmm.
from the company Threesome Inc. They acquired 3 parcels of land overlooking the Ottawa River in the town of Cumberland back in 1988. Now, anybody that's ever seen Camelot Golf and Country Club and the property can understand
Yeah.
to acquire this piece of land
Hmm.
where it was situated, overlooking the Ottawa the River the way it does. And when we say it overlooks the Ottawa River, when you're on the Camelot property, even not at its very peak point, you
Yep.
are overlooking the Ottawa River.
Sure. And
Like
over to the Quebec side. And
yeah.
yeah.
Um, now the property itself um, is a split sort of deal. It's some flat spots, some open farmland, some areas that have significant slope and drop offs and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
On the back side. Yep.
Very heavily treed ravines and lots of views of the Ottawa River. Like
Yep.
everything is a view of the Ottawa River for the most part.
Yep.
Um, so this property is like perfect for a golf course. And the idea for this golf club began. Don Noseworthy and one of those 3 founding members were at Pebble Beach for the U.S. Open in 1982, and they resolved to build this premier championship golf course in Ottawa's East End.
Yep.
So here we go. You got your members. They found the property. They bought the property, and now
Hmm.
they have to build a golf course. So what do you do?
Yeah, because at the time, if you looked at all the private clubs, they were historic private clubs at the time.
Yes,
So there
Hunt
wasn't a lot
Club,
of there.
Royal.
Yeah, exactly. So there wasn't like a new private
Mm-mm.
club or whatever. So this became the one. It's like, okay, we need a new private golf club. And this was an era when obviously, a lot of courses were being built from a public standpoint, and they realized that, there was a bit of demand for a private course, and they wanted to make it something special, and obviously they did.
Yeah, now Don's. You might ask, where do you get Camelot from?
Yeah, it's
Because
not
like
your
before we
usual
get into
name.
design, yeah, like where do you get that from? I mean, this is obviously reference to King Arthur's Court and the Knights of the Round Table and all that.
Yep.
This golf club was located in the county of Cumberland,
Yeah.
um, and it was Don's wife Lee that suggested the name Camelot
Yeah.
because of that reference to King Arthur's Court, and it's such a cool name for a golf course, really, when you think about it. And then what they ended up doing. And we're kind of condensing things a little bit because we're
Yeah.
on a
Yeah.
podcast, not a not
Sure.
a not a storybook here. But um, the the clubhouse itself was designed by a local architect, Barry Podolsky. He was
Yep.
selected to design the clubhouse, and the specific instructions was to create a structure that was consistent with the Camelot theme, so a castle-like architecture. And that's what they got. If you've ever been to Camelot, if you've never been to Camelot, as you're driving up the clubhouse, you see sort of the points of the castle with the flags on top, and then when you go in that main entranceway to the main clubhouse, and you see that sort of staircase that goes up from both sides, and the walkway into the men's
Locker
locker
rooms
room
and
is
stuff.
right
Yeah.
there, and has that large stone like brick look to it, like
Yep.
like castle brick, and then
Yeah.
it's kind of that dark corridor look to it, like you would get inside a castle. Like they definitely checked all the boxes when
Sure.
building the clubhouse and designing the clubhouse and getting that theme to the clubhouse, and still keeping it modern. Like it doesn't,
Yeah.
it's not like you walk in there and there's,
No, it doesn't feel like in the 1500s or
no,
something. You
no,
know
no,
what I
not
mean?
at all.
So
But
yeah.
they've got that look and feel to it on the outside and the inside. Um, Now they began clearing this land in the spring of 1989, and the
Yep.
course officially opened July 16th of 1991.
Yep.
And when you're trying to build what I guess would be considered, a premier golf course in Eastern Ontario, and that's your goal and that's your vision, what do you got to do?
Yeah, well, you've got to get a good architect. You've got to get
Mm-hmm.
somebody that's renowned, and they engaged Thomas McBroom to come and do the property. And it's a challenge because as you said, the front nine has kind of flatness to it. It does have some shape, and then that back nine, because of the elevation changes, definitely provided some challenges. And actually, it works out really well because you have a little bit of extra sense of drama on that back nine with
Mm-hmm.
with the elevation, and really you sort of drop in after you play 10. We'll get to all the holes here in a minute or whatever, but
Yeah.
after 10 you basically then start this up and down and up and down. And believe me, I walked it during the spring
Yeah.
open for the PGA of Ottawa, and that was not a good idea. But so it has that sort of split personality as far as the landscape, and he was able,
That's a great way to describe Camelot,
yeah,
is a
and he
golf
was,
course with split personality.
yeah, so he was able to sort of extract that from the property, which is, always the challenge when you're a designer and you're routing a design. And I would say, it looks, I mean, 1991 we're opening, and we're here talking about in 2025, and it is only improved, as far as over the years in look, in conditioning, in the sight lines that they've opened up with the trees. Now, they obviously lost a significant tree behind 18, and they are going to replace one at one
Yeah.
point here. But as a result of it, though, the course sort of gets better, and they're able to take advantage of the views more and more as they sort of sort out the tree lines and stuff a little bit. So yeah, I mean, obviously that's the history of the golf course. You've got McBroom that's in there, but let's kind of roll through some of the holes. I mean, I think, and one thing we should mention is that this course has hosted a lot of big events over the years.
Yes. Yeah, quite a
Canadian
few.
Men's Amateur. I remember when Mackenzie Hughes won that in
Yeah.
2012. Gino Thidikun won the World Junior Girls Golf Championship there in 2018, shot 60 during that. It's part of the Alexander of Tunis rotation. Yeah, so it's hosted big events. It's obviously worthy of that. And, lots of local events as far as PGA, OBJ, and so forth. But it really goes right from that start, when you start with a par 5
Mm-hmm.
and you get that little bit of opener that it's like, and they have a great practice facility, which they're continuing to build on. And, you get that wide open tee shot that's sort of somewhat welcoming, has a
Mm-hmm.
little bit of hint of danger, because you've got the bunker down the right side, tree line down the left, and then you're going to have to hit your approach if you're trying to go for it in two over top of a ravine. But it gives you a good taste of the golf course, what you would expect to find on the
Yeah.
golf course. Has a couple of tiers in the green, but it's a good opener as far as a shortish par 5, unless you're playing off the very back. I think back is like 520, so
Yeah.
it gives you an opportunity. But
Which, given the risk reward nature of that whole 520 is probably, and the fact that you're kind of going downhill to that
yes,
green on your
yes,
approach,
yeah,
that gives you sort of that risk reward factor to it, because you do have the ravine that's there, a little daunting.
yeah.
I'll tell you this though, I mean, if I have only one critical thing to say about the layout of the design of the golf course, I really, really, really like the original bunkering, waste bunkering style to number one.
Mm,
I
yeah,
really liked it when it was just one big
right,
bunker down the right hand side, not the little bunkers that it is now.
yeah.
I'm not an aspiring golf course architect, nor am I
No, that's just
critical of
a
Thomas McBroom.
preference.
That's a preference.
That's
I
a
really
preference.
like waste areas, and I
Yeah.
mean, I played Camelot very early on in the time that after I
Hmm.
started Flagstick, so the golf course was only probably 6 years old when I played it.
Yeah.
at that time, and I remember that. And then I've played it since with the new bunkering. That
Yep.
said, that approach shot on one is really awesome. You know,
It
where you're
is.
coming down the hill and you can lay it up down the right hand side, and it's
Yep.
probably the smart thing to do.
Mhm. Yep.
But if you're down there far enough, you want to go at that green, right?
It
So
does give you an opportunity off the start, but it also, as you said, it's like, okay, how am I going to play the golf course? How am aggressive I'm going to be? Because the
yeah,
problem is that, if you don't find success on that first hole,
then they're
you
going to
know,
get a kick in the teeth on number two,
exactly,
which is
especially since,
probably one of the best holes on the golf course.
yeah, and
Number two is like, you
yeah,
know,
they lengthened this a couple years ago to now stretch it to 446, and it's a split fairway with a creek that kind of divides the fairway and then a pond in front of the green. So
yeah,
again, you've got that opportunity right at the start. And I can tell you during the Spring Open or the PGA, I birdied one and I doubled two.
yeah, and
And
that, you know what? I think that probably
it's very
happens for a
common.
lot of
Oh
people at
yeah.
that, because it's like, hey, look at me, reachable par five, like your
Yeah.
birdie, easy par. Let's
Yeah.
play number two, and then
Yeah.
just you get a foot up your butt, like
Yeah.
that's,
I remember sitting there because you get so scared of that lake, and I was over in the right side and a little bit of rough, and I was like, okay, it should be an 8 iron here or whatever. And I got a little flyer, and it was a back pin. And again, you're nervous because you're like, I don't want to dump this in the water and make it double.
and
Well,
then you
guess
do.
what? I sailed the green, and then I had to look back and face the water as I pitched off of nothing. And I was like, man, I could make 8 here in a
Yeah.
hurry.
And of course, two is the number one handicap hole as
It
far as
is,
the rating
yes.
goes. Number one, and one is 13th. So
Yes.
now they go and they give you. It's like, hey, here's a nice little easy opener for you. Now we're gonna kick in the
Yeah.
butt, and then
Yeah.
we're gonna okay. Now you get a little 360 yarder.
Yeah.
We'll give it back to you. We'll give you an opportunity to give
Yeah.
it back to you again. A little 360-yard par four. Uphill a little bit.
Which again, that was one that had a waist bunker down the left side, and it's more
Yes.
just standard bunkers now. And I love that waist bunker that was there that you had to cross all the way. And I
Yes.
understand it was probably a lot of maintenance and stuff like that to be able to take care of that or whatever. But I think this is a fun hole off the more forward tees.
Yes.
As a senior, I got to play it at like 320,
Yeah.
and then you get an opportunity to kind of go at it, and it becomes that sort of like, oh, okay, early on we've got an opportunity to maybe drive a green or get it close, although the green has a lot of slope to it, has a lot of shape, sort of a saddleback.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty demanding. And we should say, I mean, green speeds here are usually pretty quick. And you definitely got to be on your game as far as how much break that you're playing and so forth. But
Yeah.
you're right, we go opportunity, kick in the teeth, opportunity,
Kick in the teeth.
kick in the teeth. Exactly.
See, I wonder. I haven't had the chance to sit down and talk to McBroom about his design philosophy on this one, but I'm starting to sense a theme
Mhm.
that maybe he's kind of like a happy, sad, happy, sad, happy, sad. Because number four is a beast of a par three
Yeah.
at 212 yards. There is water.
Plays
To
into the wind
contend
normally.
with.
Yep.
He does play into the wind, and it's a tough go. Now we're talking about from the back tees here, folks.
Correct.
So
Exactly.
the yardages we're mentioning are back tees and things like
Yes.
that. So, all right. Then you get to number five again, 550-yard par five. It's a tough
Yep.
par five, but it's not. Again, it's
fairly open,
happy
downwind.
faces and smileys.
Exactly.
Fairly wide open. 17th ranked hole in the golf course. And then guess what? You get to play a 460-yard par four.
Which is one of the more narrow holes. It's one of
Yes.
the tougher tee shots. I know a lot of
Mhm.
times playing there, even if it's more forward tees or whatever, not everybody hits driver there because you've got woods to the left, you've got a tree
Yeah.
line to the right that sometimes is playable out of there, but there's a big bunker on the right side as well. So sometimes it's like, okay, it's more prudent maybe to hit 3-wood off the tee and get something safe rather than kind of going for it, even though it's fairly long. But
Yeah.
it's definitely one of the tighter tee shots that you're going to find on the golf course.
And then you go back to number seven. Now it's 200 yards. Granted,
Yeah.
it's not the toughest par three on the golf course.
No.
So it's a tough hole, but it's a little bit of a okay. Settle it back down again.
Yeah.
And then number eight, albeit only at 392
Oh.
yards, 400 yards, don't
She
let the
tricky.
yardage on this one fool you, because
No.
this little gem can reach up and grab you really, really quickly.
Yeah,
So
it can for sure.
and then of course number 9, part of the duo, the iconic duo of 9 and 18 that has the shared green.
Yeah.
Big 444 yarder
Yeah.
downhill, bunch of we'll call it, there's not as many trees in it. A lot of the trees
No.
there originally were all cleared out. It's just a lot
Yeah.
of natty matty mounding,
Yeah.
and
It's a
now,
comfortable
which would
tee
be look
shot.
really cool if that was all waste area.
Yeah, it's a comfortable tee shot, but you've got to be very tricky. You got to be very prudent with your approach to make sure it's on the right level, not to spin off the green. So that front side, is 35, 84. It
Yeah.
makes it's longer than what you're going to face on the
Hmm.
back, but you're more open and you're flatter on that front. Whereas the
Yeah.
back side, well, all of a sudden now it's like, okay, we're going to start testing your uphill, downhill, your adjustments for that, your side hill lies, your downhill lies.
Yeah.
And even though it comes in at 34.63, sometimes the scoring is not as good on that back
No.
nine for
No, now
sure.
you get a little bit of length on number 10, the par 5 at almost 600 yards,
Yeah,
but that's really all number 10 has as far as
right.
difficulty goes, is the length. It's kind of, again, it's a little bit of a movement from the front 9 to the back 9. It's a flatter hole. There was some work done around the front of the green with the
Yeah,
bunkering and whatnot there that looks really good now compared to what it did back when I played it
yeah,
originally in '97. Good looking hole, but again, you're getting a little bit of a length. You're getting a taste of length, but nothing else
yeah.
really there. And then you get to 11, which is like 193-yard par 3.
I think it's probably one of the most memorable ones on the
Yes.
property because it plays downhill. They've obviously did a big rebuild with
Yeah.
the green, expanded the size of that. It's definitely one that people, it stands out because you get up there. I think a lot of people like elevated tee shots, and you certainly got a chance for that here at 11 and then
Yeah.
12 as well.
And then 12,
That's a love hate for a
another
lot of people.
600-yard par. This when you get up on the back tee there and you're like this thing is narrow shoot off the tee.
Yeah.
It's such a difficult mental
Yeah. You got to get off the tee.
yeah, like it's just mentally challenging off the tee. And then you get out there and it's, okay, if I get in the fairway, now I've got this uphill shot. You can't see the green. You can't see really the landing area. You
No.
just kind of like, and it's kind of narrow, and
Yeah, you got to pick a tree out and kind of head at it. But yeah, you're right.
There's a reason why it's the number 2 handicap hole on the
Yeah.
golf course too.
Yeah, and a lot of that has to do with the length, kind of more than anything. And then basically, you have a roller coaster coming home from there.
Well, yeah, you got 13, 13 that you're playing right just off the other side of the entrance road there, and
Right.
it goes sort of downhill into a big huge gully and then comes back up to the gully and to the left a little bit. There's trees all down that area where you're landing the ball.
Yeah. Very often
Definitely.
have a downhill lie for your approach for sure.
Yeah, which again makes things even more difficult. So you got to think a little bit how you're playing. And then 14 is kind of a cool hole.
It is.
Not a terribly difficult hole if you play it the right way, but it's kind of this cluster of bunkers that splits the fairway, a couple of trees there. And so you got to make your choice. Am I going to go up here to the left and go right towards the green and try to fly all those cross bunkers, or am I just going to play it safe out to the right here? And and at 395 yards, and it plays uphill.
Oh yeah.
So this isn't like, it's not like you're playing a 370-yard hole downhill and having to make these choices. You gotta.
It's a fun one when they push the tee box up, and then you can bring the green into play a little bit more on the left side. So
we'll try to push through these last 4 real quick here if we can. 15's awesome hole. It's the Redan style green. They changed the bunkering a little bit on this hole too. And resize the tee box there a little bit too on 15. Love that
par
hole.
3.
Yeah,
par
it's a par 3, 190
really
yards.
good one.
Again, not terribly difficult, but it's out in the open. The wind becomes a huge factor on this one. You got the clubhouse in the background, really cool look.
It is.
Then you get 16, which is a shorter par 5, but
not my favorite.
No, this is don't let the length of this hole fool you. It plays downhill pretty severely. Again, you're going to end up with likely a downhill lie, and you're going to have to be trying to hit back up to the flat.
Or super tight landing area.
So you got to be careful how
conservative.
Exactly. You got to be careful how far you're trying to hit the ball down there.
Right.
It might not just be a bomb it down as far as you can because it narrows
No.
up the further you go down. Then you get 17. 17's awesome. 17's
Yeah.
a perfect little par 3 17th hole. Short,
With the
downhill, smallish tiered
Brits
greens.
Brits green with with the little swale in the middle. So
Yeah. Love that hole for a 17th. And then, of course, you come to 18, mirroring number 9, the other half of the iconic 9 and 18 combo at Camelot, 445 yards. You're playing down the right side this time.
Yeah.
And
awesome view of the clubhouse,
yeah.
and 9 laid out before you. You stand on that tee and you're like, yeah, this looks good. So
yeah. Sorry, you're playing
Nice.
on the left side this time, right?
Yes, you're on the left side.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I said right side. I'm sorry, Camelot.
You're
folks.
dyslexic.
I had that wrong. You're playing on the left-hand side this time, and again, you get the clubhouse in the background, and it just everything about Camelot says awesome.
Yeah. It's one of those courses, though, that, if you play the first time, you got to understand you're probably going to score a little bit higher, more than some other places. And you really got to get to know the golf course. It helps, obviously, being a private club, or usually with a member, they can guide you through it a little bit more. But it's one you definitely want to go back and play, and you feel like you can score better the second time around. So.
There you go. So now feel yourself to that much more educated about golf in Eastern Ontario, people. Camelot, if you get an opportunity, find a member. And see if you can't get yourself out there. But that's it for us for another week. Thanks to all our sponsors, Metcalf Golf Club, Falcon Ridge Golf Club, and our presenting sponsor this week, of course, Srixon Golf. At Srixon, performance is more than just a number. It's a feeling, and one that starts with the Forge. Introducing ZXI irons with iForge, groundbreaking achievement in shaping, pressing, and heating that's taken Srixon feel to an entirely new level. Introducing ZXI irons with iForge, a groundbreaking achievement in shaping, heating that's taken Srixon feel to an entirely new level. Just in case you didn't catch it the first time, I said it a second time. ZXI irons from Srixon, how Forge should feel. Visit Srixon.ca for more information, the full lineup of Srixon products. Well, we hope that you have been enjoying watching and hearing what we've had to say today. Be sure to follow us across all social media networks, Instagram, X, Facebook, and TikTok, and subscribe on Spotify, Audible, Amazon Music, and Apple Podcasts. Subscribe to that YouTube channel, like us, and click the notification bell. And make sure you get to flagstick.com for more amazing golf content delivered every single day. As always, we do appreciate you tuning in, but until next week, I'm Jeff Potter.
I'm Scott McLeod.
Always remember, go for the stick.